bright and mobile. And usually Shurite is called Shorin, some version of Shorin Ryu, whereas Nahate is called Goju Ryu. And Goju and Nahate, they're uh, they're more powerful and a little bit lower to the ground, whereas Shrite is a little higher up and light and more evasions. That's not to say that the other that Nahate doesn't have that, or Goju, but Goju and that they have their different approaches depending on the founders of those styles, whatever their body type, they were capitalizing on their strengths and staying away from the weaknesses. So Shurite, they were capitalizing more on evasions and quicker attacks and techniques. So yeah, enough yapping. We'll get going. So Pinan number 1, Pinan 1. Actually, in Pinan number 2 first, because originally, historically, the Heian in Japanese karate was modified from the Pinan, and Heian number 2 was actually Pinan number 1, if that makes any sense. So I'll be doing Pinan 2, then Pinan 1, and then maybe Pinan 3. And like I said, I'm going to do this Kyokushin version first. Just make sure I got my frame good on my camera. The lighting seems to be good. Yeah. Yeah, that ought to be fine. Let me just see if I'm in frame. Just do a practice pose. So my head's just reaching the top of the. I might just raise the camera angle a little bit. Don't need to see too much of my feet. I'm not going to be jumping too much. And I want to make sure I'm using up as much space as I can. Usually these forms are in like an eye pattern, so there's a shorter turn and then a longer way that way. So Pinan Sonani, or Pinan number 2. Here. Now, in some of the older versions, it was actually like this and hammer fist instead of hook punch and following punch. But the way I was taught was this version. Move back so I can have room to kick them from here. Cup and saucer position, looking to the rear and doing side kick and back fist, landing and circular knife hand. Some styles do a linear knife hand, so I'm going to show that from the side at the beginning. So we're starting off in a neutral position. We're looking to the left, going into that back stance, and doing that upper block and middle block from there. Elbow and hammer fist, hook punch, moving to horse stance and doing that bowling punch, and taking that on the other side, cup and saucer position. Let's just raise that camera angle. little bit more. Do that on the other side. So finish with horse stance. Feet come together, cup and saucer position. Cat stance, upper block, middle level block. Elbow, circular elbow and hammer fist. Hook punch, stepping, flowing punch in horse stance. From there, cup and saucer position, looking to the back, chambering the leg, and side kick and back fist, landing, cat stance, and circular knife hand. Any kind of knife hand will do it, but we did circular knife hand. 2, 3. Starting once more from the Pinan number 2. From there, pressing hand block, stepping forward, spear hand, keeping that arm to guard. Then from there, turning around, back stance, knife hand 45 degree, 135 degree turn, 35 stepping forward, 45 degree. From here, scooping block, middle block, front kick, punch, scooping block, kick, punch. From there, I'm going to step forward and we're going to do an augmented block. So normally, middle block is like this. Augmented block is with both hands. From there, turning around, low fist block. From here, that same hand chambers. And we do a spear hand to the eyes. And we're stepping forward. What looks like to be an upper block. Do that on the other side. To the side wall, low block. Spear hand to the eyes, stepping forward. And what looks to be an upper block. So we'll do that from the side, and then we'll do the Shuko Kai version, and I'll talk about some of the differences that I see. So. Chamber, cup and saucer position, side kick, land, side kicking back fist, land, knife hand, knife hand, knife hand. I don't have a lot of space side to side, so I got to do that. My pressing hand block, stepping forward, spear hand, from there, knife hand block, knife hand block. Some styles just do a linear block. We did a circular one. From here, turning around, scooping, kick, punch, scooping block, kick, punch, augmented block. From there, turning, low block, spear hand with the hand in that position to spear the eyes, stepping forward, upper block, lower block, same hand, spear, and upper block. So usually karate will do a block and then they'll use the other hand to counterattack. This particular kata teaches us to do the parry or block and use the same hand to strike, as opposed to the usual orthodox karate of using one hand and then using the other hand. So boom. And also the idea of hitting 2 levels at once when we see that back kick and back fist. So now we'll do the Shukokai version. And it might be similar. Now they call their second one Pinan Shodan. whereas we call that same shape Pinan number 2. But it looks like it's similar now. I can't tell if they're jumping into the position. Let's just read the description. Facing north. So this is the Shukokai version. Facing north, shoulder width, relaxed stance, back straight, chin up, fists clenched and arms slightly bent by the side, looking west, looking that way, shifting into a left cat stance. So looks like they're doing the same. And it looks like they're jumping, so its photography isn't the greatest on this. So it looks like he's kind of jumping, but I guess that's kind of a version of cat stance. Usually some karate styles are doing back stance in this sequence with both feet flat on the floor. Kyokushin, we have a 45-degree angle in the back foot, and we're balanced on the ball of the foot. Looks like these guys are doing the same thing too. They're balancing on the ball of the foot, only their arm isn't quite angled like this. It's a little more flat, and this other hand here is kind of the similar at an angle, and you're looking over the knuckles. It's just the Kyokushin one. We have the top hand angled this way, whereas Shukokai looks like they have it more flat to the roof. And which version? Okay. So looking west, shifting, simultaneous left arm circular middle body block and right forearm head guard. So they're calling it a guard. Covering the temple and ear, so lower to the ground. With that same position, they start off and do their kata and a cup and saucer position. So what I'm describing when I say that, the bottom fist palm up and the other fist on top of. So this is the cup and this is the saucer at the hip. Some styles do it a little higher, but cup and saucer like so. It's a kind of a chambering position for whatever movement's next. So it's pretty similar. We're doing the same cat stance and that same cup and saucer, only their upper forearm cover is covering temple, so it's flatter, but this other hand is doing the same thing. Now, what comes next might be different. Boom. Collapse right forearm down into the left forearm. Slide up into shoulder width stance, with torso facing north, left hammer fist at the head level, pulling right hand back to the side. Okay, so it looks like, so instead of doing like elbow and hammer fist, hook punch, and following punch, it looks like they're doing boom, like that. You know, let me just, I'm gonna have a look at a video of theirs. Let's see if that's exactly what they're doing. It's hard to tell by books, because they're not. Now, again, there are sub-styles, so they might call themselves still Shukokai, but they might have a different way of doing the kata, different, even between the same style. You can see here, Shukokai is an offshoot of Shido Ryo, which has a lot of kata. start off by doing this. Okay, and yeah, and they're doing that hammer fist and the linear. And they don't have the cover. That's interesting. Okay, let's just go for a quick break. No, that's fine. So yeah, it looks like they're doing that hammer fist instead of doing that hammer fist to the side, or tetsui in some parlances. So here's the Shukokai version. So starts off pretty similar, only we've got no angle on this upper arm that's covering pent temple. And from here, stepping into horse stance or some kind of parallel stance and hitting with sideward hammer fist. And then the same on that side. Once again, this covering arm is not at an angle like the Kyokushin version. It's flat, and then actually, yeah, more like this. So bring that arm down. So one side. Then from here, instead of, we'll do this from the side. So we start off their kata. So instead of, they chamber here, but instead of doing like a side kick and a back fist, they do something different. They turn around and they're doing turning around and kicking to the back by front kick instead of back kick. So their version, they're turning around and kicking front. I imagine there are good applications to either this one, doing some general thing, just moving in, looking over your shoulder to do that back kick or side kick position with the back fist, and then landing and doing right hand block, or in their case, the Shukokai version, they're doing a bit of a turn, which may use up more time, I guess, but maybe they're thinking you can see things better when you're turning yourself as opposed to kind of blinding or looking over your shoulder. Maybe that's why they do that, by turning and doing that kick. So let's just have a look at that one more time. Okay, and the more of a cat stance. So it says, looking so through the right shoulder, turn and shift into a right cat stance to perform a middle circular block and a right front kick. So they're not doing that back fist side kick or back kick. They're so boom, boom. From here, turning into cat stance and doing simultaneous middle block and kick. So they're turning around, and a little quicker than that, actually turning around, boom, as opposed to looking over that shoulder and doing side kicks. So that's how they do it differently. So front kick and middle block instead of back fist and back kick, which I've seen in other karate styles as well. whether they're doing their knife hand, they're doing a linear knife hand, whether they're doing it at an angle, but the Kyokushin version, we were doing knife hand like this, but they're doing a linear version like that. Now, whether they're going in a straight line or whether they're doing a 45-degree angle, let me just have a look at this. For a middle circular block and right front kick, turn towards north. After the kick, shift into a left cat stance, left knife hand block. So yeah, they're going forward 3 times. So it's pretty similar that way. The only exception is that they're substituting a linear knife hand block for that one that we do in Kyokushin, that circular one that we're doing. Because if someone's coming in with a kick, we're knocking the foot down and then doing that knife hand, whereas the orthodox version of the knife hand block is just linear like that, not a circular one. So starting from beginning again, and forearm is flat. Hammer fist. Hammer fist. Turning around. Middle block. Front kick. Landing. Cat stance. So stepping forward 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Covering the solar plexus. And then from here, the Kyokushin one, we did that pressing forearm block, step forward and did the spear hand. With their version, they don't do that pressing block. They just go straight from that knife hand block and do the middle level spear hand from there. So that's a stylistic difference. And it's not so much of a and then when they're doing that knife hand block, okay. So the Shugo Kai version is a little bit different. Some things they add, some things they take away from. This, so there, stepping out from here. Again, that forearm cover is flush with the ceiling. There's no angle to it like the Kyokushin version from there. And hitting with and they're doing not so much a horse stance, but like a parallel stance. And from there, so standing up, and it's quite not the horse stance that we do in the other version. From here, cup and saucer turn, middle and block. So what that looks like from that side is, so boom, boom, turning, middle inside block, front kick instead of back kicking like that. So boom, landing, knife hand, knife hand, knife hand. Two, three, four, no covering, just straight in to spear hand with the other hand covering there. And we do like a 45-degree angle. Boom, boom, and looks like they do a similar sequence with that block, kick, punch, block, kick. So boom, linear, kick, kick. So I can't quite see what they're doing. And they're going down the middle line. So. Turning, knife hand, knife hand, knife hand, spear hand, knife hand, knife hand, knife hand, from here, boom, 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 and from there, looks like they're doing that same augmented block, and they're turning lower block, and then upper block, lower block, and upper block, as opposed to the Kyokushin version where we were doing after we did that. Like double block, turning lower block, that's the same. Like with Kyokushin, we do that lower block and spear hand, and then stepping forward upper block, whereas the Shukokai version, and do that augmented middle block, turning low block, and then stepping forward upper block. Turning the other way, low block, stepping forward upper block. They don't do that. Spear hand. So a few differences. And there we are at the halfway mark, 30-minute mark, my Ko-fi page, everybody. So let me just write down a few differences. I think I'll just leave it for Pinan 1 today, or Pinan 2, whatever the case may be. The Shukokai number 2, Pinan number 2, and the Kyokushin Pinan number 1. So begin with the forearm cover is level the floor in the Shukokai version, angled in the Kyokushin version. That same, they're using that same middle part, but the upper part here in Shukokai, they're covering the temple. In the Kyokushin version, they're angling it up more. And from there, the Shukokai version coming here and hitting with hammer fist in the Kokai hitting with following punch in the Kyokushin version. So the Shukokai version, turning that arm over and hitting with the hammer fist to the side, whereas the Kyokushin version, hitting with the elbow, hammer fist, and then following punch. So that's a difference. And from there, the cup and saucer chamber is the same. Looking over the right shoulder, that's the same. But hitting with simultaneous back fist and back kick. Is turning more facing the hips to the back middle inner block, or they called it circular block, and front kick instead of side kick, and that's simultaneous. So that's the same thing, simultaneous middle block and front kick. So the Kyokushin version, we're looking back and we're hitting the side kick and back fist, towards the Shukokai version, turning fully and middle kick and middle block and kick at the same time. So one is turning the body a little bit more before that blocking and counter, whereas the other one not so much. And from there, circular knife and blocks in the so circular knife hand block in the Kyokushin version, the Shukokai version being more of a linear knife hand block. Should be roughly ending in the same position. It's just the delivery method with the Kyokushin one is more of a circular arm movement, whereas the Shukokai is a bit more of a linear, notwithstanding the turn of the wrist, but more of a linear knife hand. And so into the Kyokushin version has that pressing palm. A pressing palm block simultaneous with middle level spear hand, the spear hand thrust. Just has the spear hand thrust. And turning around, knife hands, knife hands, knife hands, and then that scooping. That was pretty similar. Scooping, kick, punch, scooping, kick, punch, and then that double hand block. Some styles do that augmented block with the fist at the elbow. Kyokushin does its little higher up, so that's one difference with that two-handed augmented block. One version here, one version here with the fist at the elbow, as opposed to fist a little bit more in the middle of the arm. And the Shukokai version just does the lower block and alternating upper block. Then other hand upper block. Has lower block, same hand, spear hand thrust to eyes, then upper block. And so one explanation from that bunkai or application that I was taught from that Kyokushin version, when we're turning around, block, same hand, and the spear hand is different. So kind of opening to spear the eyes, whereas a regular spear hand usually has the fingers together. We were doing a version, a vertical one like that with the fingers together. There's also a version to the throat, but this one is aimed at the eyes, so the fingers are spearing the eyes. Lower block, same hand, spear hand to the eyes, and then we're using the upper block to pull the hand out of the head, that it's just speared the eyes. And that's one possible bunkai, or application in Japanese. I'll write that down for you. Application of the kata movements. So in more modern times, they've just done the kata and they've forgotten the application. They invent applications that don't make a lot of sense, whereas back in the older days, they had very concrete applications for these movements, these sequences, whereas just as time has gone by and the arts have been watered down, they've forgotten the application and they just practice the kata, the form, which is unfortunate, because you can do something with you can sell something a lot more convincingly if you can believe it, and you can believe it if there's an actual reasoning to it, and that was part of the application, the older application. So I'm going to close off by doing the kata of each version. Let's just lower that because we don't need that too high up. And I'll do it nice and slow. I won't do it to speed because I really need to be. It's not a performance, it's a practice. So the Kyokushin version. Pinan Sona each, or Pinan number 1. Back stance, cup and saucer chamber, and looking to that side, left side. Middle level block and upper hand cover from there. Elbow, and hammer fist simultaneously, hook punch or just some kind of a preparatory position, and following punch in a deep horse stance. Doing that on the other side. Following punch, so linear following punch and a deeper horse stance. Then feet come together. We're chaining, we're bringing the cup and saucer, looking over the back. I'm going to do this at an angle so you can see what's going on here. So we finished off with that. Looking over the right shoulder, which is pretty common in both styles, and doing a simultaneous side kick and a back fist, simultaneously landing in back stance, and 3 knife hand strikes, stepping forward, 2, 3, from here to that third one, doing the pressing palm block, and middle level spear, with the fingers together. From there, turning around, knife hand block, stepping forward, knife hand block at a 45 degree, turning, knife hand block. From there, going from the cat stance into a front stance, and scooping block, front kick, punch. So I'll do that also from an angle so you can see what's going on. So we have that knife hand block, back stance, moving into a front stance, scooping block. It looks kind of like a middle block when it ends up. Front kick, land, punch, scooping block, kick, land, punch. After that second one, cup and saucer, and we're going to do that augmented forearm block in that position I told you earlier about. So not at the elbow, and hinging more in the middle. Turning around, lower block with a fist. Same hand, spear to the eyes, stepping forward, block, spearing to the eyes, and ending like so. That's the Kyokushin version. The Shukukai version. So this time the forearm is flat. That middle arm block is pretty much the same, and it's a cat stance as well. From here, from here, standing up and hammer fist to the side. From there, hammer fist, so hitting with hammer fist to the side this time. So after that, hammer fist to the side, turning, cup and saucer chamber, turning, front kick and middle block at the same time. So middle block and front kick only at the same time. Landing, cat stance, linear. So 1, 2, 3 at the end of that third one. And instead of doing that cover like we do in the Kyokushin version, you're just doing straight old spear hand without a cover. There. Linear knife hand, linear knife hand, linear knife hand, linear knife hand. And from what I can tell, it's pretty similar to that scooping block, front kick punch, scooping block, front kick punch, and that augmented block. The only difference now is that they do lower block off to the side, and stepping forward upper block, and they don't do any kind of spear hand in the middle like the Kyokushin version did. There we have the two different versions of the same kata. You can see some similarities. You can see some differences and different applications for some of the different movements. So thanks everybody for joining me. I'm going to turn this light off so it's not so bright in my eyes. Moving around, doing some things doing some historical research on a similar form. So at some point in time, these different versions of the same form must have come from some original version of the form, a proto version, as it will, the original version, and then people, as they branched off in their styles, they kind of shaped that original kata into something else, just a few changes along the way, and then that caused some differences in application and also in style wise, even though I don't like to use the word style. So let's go find someone to raid. And like I said, so these are just catalogs of movements. They're not really applications for fighting per se. They're just getting used to moving and balancing instead of just doing like static techniques. See who else is let's see who else is doing. I'm just gonna rate Natalia Cat. She's a cosplayer, Polish Canadian. I'll rate her channel because she's Canadian. 70 followers. Everybody, thanks again. I know I said thanks last time, but I'll